here on Twitch. So we're going to go ahead and share this into a few groups. You know the drill. You know the title. You know everything you need to know. So we're going to go ahead and share this out. I'm excited to be here. This is going to be a great day. It should be interesting to say the least. I'm interested to see what people are going to think about this. This should be one for the ages because we're going after everybody. And I've got neighbors talking. I feel like getting a little rowdy today. Hold on one second. We're going to change that up just slightly. There we go. That's better. And we'll post that and share from there. That's what we'll do. I have a viewer. Good morning. Switching things up a bit over on the and there we go. I hate doing this one by one shit. I really do. Oh wow, I've been kicked out of a lot of Juggalo groups. Holy shit. That's kind of cool. Wait, is this true? Oh, guess not. I got excited there for a minute. Ocubleto Claroso. Hello. Good evening. Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Just sharing this out real quick. You guys know the drill. Share this out to your friends, families, and your loved ones. We're going to start getting a little more controversial. I feel like we've been playing it too safe here. So, yeah. There we go. Perfect. That'll work. That'll do. So, oh yeah, and the, you know what? I can share this over to the asylum. Haha. Share to a page. Share over to the asylum. Post. And then forgot one group. There we go. And then over to my page, and we're good to go, and then we'll get into this discussion. Perfect. Excellent. So here we are. We are live, and I couldn't be happier. So I've noticed this trend, and this has been bugging me for a bit, and I really hope this gets people's attention because, let's face it, I need a boost, and I need new neighbors. So here we are live, and we're going to be discussing how fans have actually kind of switched from being fans to record label representatives. And what I mean by that is whenever somebody doesn't get along, whether it's a band, an artist, an icon, a hero, or whatever the fuck, they tend to pick sides based off of favoritism, cognitive bias when it comes to somebody you like, somebody you prefer over somebody else. Two groups aren't getting along, so now you got to pick a side and be a part of the battle. And that's the kind of shit that people actually like to hear about. A lot of people, they like to hear about things like this. They like to hear, oh, I want the goody bits. I want to know what's going on with who and who. Gossipy people are like that. People with low IQs are actually drawn to things like that. I know, I just called out as 75, 85% of the juggalos, and I'm being fair. Twiggy Dro writes, they should have been fucking around table, the one that covered this for a long, long time. Huh? Gotta retype that, dude. I didn't quite understand that. But there are fans of bands that they're like, oh, these two bands are beefing, so I get to pick a side. Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson, same. When those two were fighting, and fans were picking sides. Are you Team Manson or are you Team Zombie? And to prove that it's simple minds that fall into this, it really goes into simple minds. It really falls into those that are gossipy. And more importantly, it does prove the fact that people who watch Twilight are the same people that are involved in this whole team pick a side. I've been waiting to cover fans picking sets for a long time. I wanted to do a roundtable. I wanted to have somebody to discuss it with. Well, we can discuss it again at some point, I'm sure, but I was running low on options for show ideas. So that's why I'm doing this. This will be perfect thing to debate on. Now, one of the things that I do want to say when it comes to this, and we can't even debate on it, so you and me are going to agree. Let's face it, we're going to agree. I mean, so... well, I'm just being fair. So, to get to my point here, juggalos do this a lot. ICP above all else, right? And I've heard juggalos say this to me. I've got ICP tatted on my arm, man. I got this. I'm covered in this. Oh, I got to get my twisted tattoo covered up. Oh, I got to, Blaze left and boo-hoo. And now I got to pay attention to what Young Wicked is saying. I got to pay attention to what Twisted's saying. Oh, how come Twisted hasn't responded? That's a big one in the juggalo community. That's a big one. How come nobody responded? Because of the fans. That's why nobody's responded. Now, if fans could be adults and be mature, that wouldn't happen. But we don't live in that world anymore. We live in a world where it's more along the lines of, this is what I do. This is kind of what I'm about. I plan on doing this. I intend on doing that. I'm going to pick this person's side. I'm going to get involved in the nitty gritty. I'm going to report on this. Oh, somebody said this. Oh, there's a shoot interview over that. That's that small mind mentality, man. That's reptilian brain right there. And you've met some of these juggalos, I'm sure. That's their thing, man. They'll sit there and discuss how artists and beefs, and that's a predominant thing in hip hop. Like that's very apparent in the hip hop community. This artist doesn't fuck with this guy, and that's my boy, so I gotta ride and die for him. Bro, chill the fuck down. You listen to music just like we do. Come on now, man. Come on. It's fucking ridiculous. So the more I look at this and the more I break this down, the more I begin to realize that we're in a world now where everything's at our fingertips and we look up what's happening. People do research. The greatest beefs, the verses, and all that. And that could be because we grew up watching X-Men and trying to figure out who the villain's going to be for the next fucking Marvel film or whatever the shit. Maybe that's what it is. That could be it. But either way, it still shows the idea of a small mind. And it shows that we really haven't become fans anymore. Now we're into the drama of it. So I remember back when I was in high school, man, it was a fight for genre. It was a fight for superiority. And as a matter of fact, when I was in school, it was like, this music is close to me. I cherish this music. No, you can't have it. No, you can't listen to it. Now we want everybody to listen to it. Now we're sharing it with our friends. Now we're even forcing music on our friends, which is kind of a shit thing. Like back in the day when I'd be on the road and I'm chilling in the back seat trying to enjoy my fucking music because I don't want to hear the Trey Pound album for the 15th time. Like I want to listen to my music, dude, for real. So we live in different times. We live in a different world, and I'm having a hard time with it. I'm not going to lie. There's a bit of a struggle. But I'm trying to deal. So I break it down like this. When I listen to music, right, and I'm guilty of this too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here passing judgment. If you think for a second that I'm acting like I'm all high and mighty, I've been victim of this too. I've even said it. I can't fucking rub two brain cells together. Don't expect much from me or my network. So I see it like this. When Jack Black claimed that Johnny Rotten signed these papers to be an extra in that one movie he did. What the fuck was the name of it? Something about the Pick of Destiny. That movie. Well, Johnny said I never agreed to be in that, so Jack Black was suing Johnny, and Johnny's like, I never even knew you. I didn't even know who you were and didn't even know you existed, so I was Team Johnny all the way, and I was very much anti-Jack Black. But at the same time, it's like, why did I invest in that? Johnny doesn't know who the fuck I am, so really I have no hat to throw into the ring. I have no business discussing that, and more importantly, I shouldn't be picking a side on it at all, period. So I kind of stepped back from that. You know what I mean? But again, I was in high school when this went down. I was in high school when I heard about this, and I was very much a Sex Pistols guy, and I was very much Sid Jones against the world. Like, if you think that this is just Sid Jones against this, you got to remember it's Sid Jones against everybody. I picked fights in school. I didn't get along with anybody, and that was by choice. I don't like being popular, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a fan of being liked. I want to be your enemy. I want you to hate me. I thrive and I do better when I've got somebody who's at my opposition. Why? Because the viewers tend to like that. You could put Sid Jones alone, average about a view. And then you put Sid Jones versus somebody else, and the viewership goes up because I'm a very intense guy. I'm a very mean guy, and I'm very brutal when I want to be. But that's what people are drawn to. That's their focus. Twiggy writes, usually when fans pick a side, it's because of the way the music speaks to them personally. This ties in with the fans that tell artists that their music saved their life, and I can assure you ICP's heard that many times throughout their career. And there's jugglers that have said it. Your music, I'll say this, music changed my life. Like there's some bands that like had an impact on me. Like without Darby Crash, there'd be no Sid Jones. Without Henry Rollins, there'd be no Sid Jones. Without Sid Vicious, there'd be no Sid Jones. Without Steve Jones, there'd be no Sid Jones. You see where I'm going at with this? There's a lot of bands, a lot of artists, a lot of people that exist who I love and I cherish that without them, I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be having this conversation. I'd still be writing books. Keep that in mind. Can confirm. And if people can't spar with me, if people can't handle it, and normally there's 2 in 1. I know they'd make the perfect enemy in a way that like a squash match would be good between Brock Lesnar and Hornswoggle. Like and it would be, you take a female, it has to be female, and she's got to believe in the metaphysical realm, and that is a squash match because I will unleash an unholy hell on her. Not just because she's female, but that doesn't help her cause. So that's where I thrive, is being combative, and I thrive viewership wise. My patch sales increase, my novels increase, my name increases, and I get to be a vicious son of a bitch at my best. And I'm starting to run out of people to combat against because they're constantly flocking and running. The fucking cunts. Now, guys too. Guys have seemed to have just kind of like that I've been beefing with. They just kind of like left me in the wind and decide they're going to try and jump me at a show because hip hop isn't violent. Yet that's the only music they listen to. Normally it's these underground cunts you hear it from. Bobby Lowe and so on. So I brought this up because honestly, it need to get said. Like, if you listen to music, I promise you, I'm going to put it to you like this, right? I'm Sid Jones. You guys have seen what I've done. You guys have seen my articles and shit like that. Okay. You've seen who I hung out with. I promise you, they don't give a fuck what I listen to on a Sunday morning. I promise you, I don't get phone calls from people being like, "Hey man, you you got that one artist on your playlist, right?" I never get that call. You know, another phone call I don't get. Hey, you're not listening to that guy, are you? I never get that phone call. I haven't even had that said to me since the whole punk rock was absolute shit and died of a heroin overdose in the 70s comment, and in which case I retaliated and the viewership went up. And that's when I learned I need enemies in order to thrive. I need somebody that I can combat on an even playing field, no less. So I never get this. So I doubt. I seriously doubt. I'm not saying I'm above anybody else, but I'm saying you've seen my articles, you've seen what I've done, you've seen my podcasts, you've seen who I've worked with, who I do business with. If these motherfuckers ain't calling me saying, "Hey, you better not be listening to that new album," I promise you, they're not worried about what the fuck you're listening to either. This whole, "Hey, you can't wear this at a show." Why would you fuck with that guy? And why would you give a shit? Let me explain something to you. I've heard these stories of, "Oh, I was told I can't wear this," and "Oh, my best friend's cousin who's over there down in Texas said that he went to a show and was kicked out because he had a Hatchet Man on." Really? Because I've been at fucking, I can't count how many Twisted shows I've been to, and I've never once seen that happen, ever. And I've seen Hatchet Mans all over the place. You'd think that if this were true, right? Say it were me. Say if I see you with a fucking Hatchet Man, you're out. And I see somebody with one of those 2001 diamond cut Hatchet Men, yeah, you're not walking out there with that. I'm just going to take that shit. And then I'm going to turn around and flip it on eBay for $3,500. That's what I'm going to do. So I feel like this is kind of one of those boogeyman tales one of those things to make somebody look bad deliberately and to give the opposition something to talk about. That's what I think it is, honestly. And I'm a guy who loves being combative. I'm a guy who, if somebody does shit like that, I think it's fucking foul. And there should be some repercussions to that. But I want to witness that. I want to see that. Why haven't I seen that? And as I said, I've been to Sacramento, California. I've seen Twisted. I've been to the Majestic Theater in Detroit, seen Twisted. I've been to the Loft in Lansing, Michigan, and seen Twisted. I've been to Massachusetts and seen Twisted. Like, I'm not understanding where people are saying this is happening at. Oh, it's this one little video where these people were told to get out because they were chanting ICP. Do I think that's stupid? I think it's stupid that people would chant ICP it's the same thing that I get with those people that yell Freebird. I never understood that. I will never understand that. And that's exactly what I thought of that. If they're going to get kicked out for some shit like that, do I think that's petty? Slightly. But do I also pick favor of the fans? No. Like, absolutely not. And do I give a shit that ICP allows that? You know, when you get twisted chants. And they're like, oh, that's the shit. I don't give a fuck either way. I'm going to enjoy my music. I'll probably listen to the new album. Revelation, I found out, was its title. Revelation. The new Twisted album, I'm going to listen to that. And guess what? The people over at Psychopathic Records ain't going to give a fuck. The Juggalos ain't going to give a fuck about what I'm listening to. Period. End of story. They don't give a fuck. They're not going to sit there and say, Sid Jones better not be listening to that Abomination CD. Oh, Sid Jones better not be listening. They don't care. They're going to tell me that punk rock sucks, and they're going to just assume that I'm listening to the new Dropkick Murphys album. Little do they know that the new Dropkick Murphys album has not released yet. So there's that. Twiggy writes, I've heard a lot of people say, I will choose ICP over everything, and to me, that is fucking retarded. Okay. Get off that real quick. A lot of people feel that way. Rob Zombie versus Manson. There's people that were Team Zombie. There were people that were Team Manson. I said Manson hasn't dropped a good album in a long fucking time. That's what I said. That was my response was, I haven't heard good music coming from him. Are you saying that Manson's garbage? I'm saying his new music is garbage. Everything after his greatest hits, lest we forget, garbage. Absolute trash. Now you can agree with me or disagree with me. I get paid the same. But that's my opinion, right? And I'm welcome to it. Did that affect how I felt about Rob Zombie? No. Now, here, another good case in point, right? So it's not even just, as I said, it's not even just the music. It's not even just in the Juggalo culture. Before the Juggalos say, he's picking on me, just calm your tits. It'll be fine. Don't cry. Your face paint's going to run and you're going to end up gagging on it. So when I was at Astronomicon and I found out that Tony Moran doesn't get along with Tyler Mane. The two people who played, one played John Carpenter's Halloween, the other one played Rob Zombie's Halloween. Now, here's the thing. I like both. I know. And I don't give a fuck. And I like Tony Moran, great guy. I like Tyler Mane, great guy. I had conversations with the both of them, right? One sat here and the other one sat probably a good, 75, 100 feet away. And, I mean, they didn't kill each other. They don't like each other, right? And I don't give a shit about that. I could care less. Tony Moran is not going to dictate what it is that who I hang out with and who I talk to. Tony Moran probably fucking dead set forgot about me. All right. Same with Tyler Mane. He probably doesn't fucking remember me. The only person I know remembers me for a fact, if I see him at Astronomicon 4, is going to be Bill Moseley. And that's because I kind of harped on that guy just slightly. But regardless of that, I'm going to say that when it boiled down to that, I'm still going to enjoy both movies. I'm going to watch both of them on Halloween. I'm going to watch those movies whenever the fuck I want. Why? My TV, right? I get a say in what it is that I do. Am I going to get a call from somebody and be like, you better not be checking out that new Halloween movie, man. It's not even directed by John Carpenter, man. Like, don't even do that shit. It completely eradicates all of John Carpenter's work. Well, if you recall, John Carpenter didn't even direct all the other Halloween films. So fuck off. Again, petty shit. Like, and the people, these people on social media, they advocate this too. Like, they kind of like, they predominantly like push this, okay? They'll ask questions like, are you Team Zombie, Team Manson? Are you Team Carpenter? Are you Team Zombie? And I'm like, I like it all. And the funny part is, if you're neutral, right? If you're like, oh, I fuck with both, or I got no problems with both, I like both, you're completely ignored. Try it out sometime. Next time you see a Facebook post of somebody saying, hey, which side are you on? Comment, I like both. nobody's going to give a fuck. You'll get a couple of likes from people, but you're not going to. But if somebody said, I'm Team Zombie, they're going to get 35 responses, hands down. 35 responses, hands down. Those that sit there and play in the middle, and we're actually told this is as far back as the Bible has been written, where this has actually become a natural thing for us. If you're not on the side of God or the devil, you're actually the first ones to get annihilated. That's what it says in the Bible. And I find this to be interesting that society is the same way. Think about it. Those that are neutral, those that are in the middle, are the ones that we don't give a fuck about. We draw them no attention. We pay them no attention. We probably both sides talk shit on them because they didn't have the balls to side with us and we are far superior. Big Brain Bay, right? Boo-hoo. Another county heard from. Excellent. Thank you for joining us. So, riveting stuff. But again, I inquire this question to you. Why is this the case? Well, again, we have grown up in where in books and stories, you've got to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And in the middle is where the climax happens, ladies. And that climax is like usually a versus, right? There's some sort of, in every story, there has to be a versus. There has to be man versus man, man versus nature, man versus creature, man versus whatever the fuck. But it always has to be a versus. That's how stories are written. And we are very, very much like sponges when we're children. So we absorb this kind of information, right? We take this in and we're like, okay, so everything is like, everything's combative. So now we hunt it down and we look for it. That's what we do. And unfortunately, it's with everything that we do that we're hunting it down and looking for it. Like, oh, have you heard the latest on who's versing who now? Man versus himself. Man versus himself. Yes. What? Anyways, so one of the issues that I have with this mentality though is that now it comes into everything. Now you got to find a way to just turn that off at some point, right? Like my ex, she'll sit there and she'll listen to all of this like drama shit. It's like, oh, this person doesn't like this person. I have to hear both sides, and oh my God, oh, she said this about this person, and oh my God, I'm like, and I see it. There's millions of views on that shit, man. There's millions of views on it, and I'm over here like, I just want to play some Reservoir Dogs, dude. I want to play my Reservoir Dogs video game. I want to watch some Tarantino films. I want to pop in some new music. That's what I want to do. I want to conduct my business, write my books, and just be left the fuck alone, right? But I thrive better going against somebody. One, it's more entertaining. Second, I have no filter. And third, people enjoy that, right? So by doing that, am I kind of selling out in a sense? As a discussion that we talked about last week? Possibly, maybe. Or is it the fact that I just relish in combating somebody, right? And I've been getting fucking bored over here on the network because I've had, like, even when I have debates with Twiggy, it's more along the lines of like, no, I agree with you. And to me, it's not like that stimulant, right? It's not like that cocaine rush that you get. It's not that adrenaline. It's lackluster. And I'm sure that the viewers are feeling the same way. So I've taken upon myself to go out and find somebody that's worthy of combating me that I think could actually hold a fucking candle to me. Not to say that I'm the best, but to say that after you beef with Shaggy 2 Dope, I kind of feel like that your enemies are few and far between. And so I've been bored for a better part of a year, not having somebody to go against. And the people that I have gone against, the problem with them is they like to dox people. They like to fight unfair. They'll drag kids into it. They'll drag your family into it. They'll just threaten to jump you. I'm like, that's not somebody I want to combat either. Like a verbal sparring. But I realize that the people that I want to verbal spar with have the IQ of a Tickle Me Elmo. You've got the Bobby Does out there. You've got the Vendor Boys. You've got the Lord Zeros. You've got these cunts, man. They're fucking cunts. And I'm like, what the fuck can I do with this? What the fuck am I going to do with this? Like, there's nothing I can do with that. If I fight one of them, they're going to want to just jump me because, I said their name. I'm like, oh, you don't have the right to say my name. I had 5 people at my show last week. Oh, that's cute and adorable. So, I've hosted 3,000 shows with about 8 people in attendance. Like, that's awesome. Good for you. Bravo. I hosted these events. I got to bring out these artists. These artists that are no longer signed. Good for you, man. Your resume's dwindling significantly. Which brings me to this point in this whole fan thing. And this drives me fucking bananas. These motherfuckers that think that they're tight with somebody when they're like, I'm like, listen, I had I still got his account following me on Instagram. Does that mean he's my boy? Am I ever going to claim Saint Dog as mine? Nope. Am I going to consider him a homie? Nope. Why? Because I never shook hands with the guy. Do I think he's dope? Do I think he's contributed something to the music scene? Abso-fucking-lutely. Has he earned his right to be called a fucking hip-hop legend? Abso-fucking-lutely. No one should ever take that away from Saint Dog. I had a fucking spar with Shaggy 2 Dope. Am I getting a call from Psychopathic Records to get signed? No. Is Shaggy my boy? I got no problems with the guy. If I saw him at the bar fucking just sitting there sipping on a fucking club soda, I'll sit next to the guy. I'd have a good conversation with him. I'm not going to call him my boy. Like, he's my dude. Now, there's other people out there that I do consider brothers to me. T-Money Green, without a fucking doubt. T-Money is my guy. T-Money is my dude, and he's a friend of mine. Like, I would do business with him any day of the week, and he's a good friend. My boss over at the Asylum, Tom Stewart. I love this guy to death. This guy tells me something, and I'm right fucking there, and I'm listening to every word he's got to say. Not only is it because he's a smart guy and business savvy, but I also consider him a very good friend of mine. Do I consider Red a homie? Absolutely. I've spent hours upon hours upon hours having conversations with Red on like personal levels, and if he called me right now and said, "Hey, yo, Sid, you want to go fucking grab a beer down the street someplace?" Fucking yeah, dude, let's go do that. That's my dude. That's my boy. Extra Overdose, we're inseparable. Take us on a tour one of these days. Go on a 60-day tour with us, and you'll just see like how fucking close-knit we are. We're inseparable, literally inseparable until he gets up on stage. Like, we are hanging out and shit, having drinks. It's a good old time. I'm definitely a fence sitter. Yeah, and nobody pays attention, right? Nobody knows the wiser, and you're kind of left in the dust. It fucking sucks. I mean, this shit happens, man. But at the same time, I live my life the way that everybody should. It's kind of like by my own fucking rules, by my own fucking standards. You don't have to like me. I might not be your best friend, but let me explain something to you. You not liking me, unless I'm going to get views out of you by fighting you and going head to head with you online. Fucking A, man. It ain't going to get me anywhere. Like, I'm not going to give a shit. Like, if you think that for a fucking second, that somebody like Casper with a K can go head to head with me, I've already annihilated that guy. This guy can't do a fucking debate to save his life. What the fuck? Like, I'm running out of people, man. And the thing is, I'm still here. I've been doing this going on 5 years now. I'm going on 5 years doing this shit, right? And I've yet to be taken down and stopped. I'm still doing it. I've not once retired. I've not once quit. Have I wanted to? Absolutely. If you do something that you love doing and you're not out for it to quit at some sort of point where you're like, I just want to be fucking done with this, and you're not doing your fucking job right. And anybody who's an artist, anybody who's a podcaster, anybody who's set out on their own can vouch for me on that. It is fucking hard times. So with that being said, we can get back into this topic of why have we gone from being fans to being representatives of record labels and bands and artists, where it's like, paint the picture for you, right? Let's take Big Brain Bay. Let's take Big Brain Bay. We're sitting down, we're having a drink, right? We're having good conversation. And you're like, hey man, did you check out that new AC/DC album, Power Up? It's pretty fucking dope, right? Oh, dude, fucking solid. And then some guy comes out of the fucking woodwork in the back of the venue and goes, oh, are you guys talking about AC/DC? Yeah, man, have you heard that new Power Up album? Like, it's fucking dope. Anyways, man, my favorite song off that was, well, I just want to tell you guys something about AC/DC. Okay? What? Did you know that the lead singer got into a fight with the dude from Def Leppard? Okay. Yeah, man. It was pretty intense. Cool. All right. Anyway, so my favorite song at the Power Album. What? That's all you guys have to say about it? Yeah. That's all I have to say about it, man. It's whatever. I'm personally an AC/DC guy myself. Def Leppard's fine, but if I had to pick, it'd probably be AC/DC, Far Superior Album. Well, I'm a Def Leppard fan. That's cool. Go listen to their music, bro. Anyways, back to the fuck. That's the shit that I'm talking about, right? That's the shit I'm talking about, where I don't want to have to sit there and have a discussion with somebody like Big Brain Bay and have somebody interrupt the conversation with some dumb shit like that, right? Like, Hey man, did you check out that new Murphy's album, dude? Fucking dope. Yeah, but Do or Die was better. Oh, for fuck's sakes, from the peanut fucking gallery. We know. Anyways, what'd you think of the new album? Like, that's the shit that you should get stabbed for, honestly. Like, that person, there should be a law that when somebody does some shit like that, they get to be taken out back of the venue for 15 minutes and beaten brutally. That should be a law. Brigman, I didn't, but I heard it was great. Touche. I think you're a funny guy. I'm not a big Def Leppard fan. I only like a handful of songs. Right. That's exactly what I'm talking about, though. Like you hear a band's name, you hear an artist's name in your ear. Like, bring up Twisted, right? Go to a show, wear a Twisted t-shirt. You're not going to get dirty looks, and they're not going to jump you for it, but they're going to tell you just about how they feel about Twisted. Every Juggalo's got a story on how they've been affected by Twisted in some sort of way. I'm like, bro, show me on this doll where they touched you. Like, what the fuck? Oh, did you know that Monoxide supposedly did this? Okay. Any proof? No. It was word of mouth. Yep. So there's no like court documents or anything like that. No. Okay. And then I go about my fucking day, and I'm probably going to enjoy the fucking music anyways. Like that. This is, and this kind of goes into another line of it, right? What would happen? What would happen if your favorite band, favorite artist, or whatever the fuck was accused of something foul, right? You would defend them tooth and nail, right? Why? Why do we do that? Why do we feel the need to suddenly jump up in the arms and tell people, listen, my band and my artist would never do that? Johnny Depp, for example. Do I have any investment in a Johnny Depp? Nope. Does he know who the fuck I am? Nope. Does he give a fuck about me? We already stated he doesn't know who the fuck I am, right? But I got heated about the fact that he was getting fired over false accusations and shit like that. Turns out he still got fired. He still lost his contract, whatever. But the point was, it's like, it became a battle of the sexes. That whole debate, that whole conversation. If you partook in that conversation, I mean, you drank the Kool-Aid just as guilty as I am. Again, I'm not saying I'm innocent in all this. I'm asking the question here, why are we like this? Can we fix it? And is it nature or nurture that has done this? Am I boiling this down too far? Am I boring you? These are the questions that we need to be asking here, right? But I feel like that nobody else is bringing it up. So I kind of thought that since nobody's talking about it, I kind of thought that I'd address it. Now, a lot of people who tune into this podcast, especially over here at the Sid Jones Network, they get kind of this ick feeling that I even address it because it's an embarrassing thing as is. And the fact that it's being brought up makes it that much more embarrassing, that much more, as the internet likes to say, cringe. But I have to kind of go out on a limb here and assume that this conversation hasn't been had. And Bella J supposedly sucked a dick. You should bring this shit up to me before you go live. It can turn into a debate. I know, but I like my solo shows. Like, I like doing a show with you once a week. I think it's great, but I like to do my shows. I like to, you know, I like to say what's on my mind, man. Like, especially when it's noon on a Sunday. Big Brain Bay writes, we fence sitters do not drink the Kool-Aid ever. My mom wouldn't allow it. Cheers to you, man. I got a kick out of you. So one of the other points I wanted to bring up. Oh, we got another one here. Gabby Wong writes, I think in this instance, it's nurturing over nature. Thank you, Gabby Wong. You know, and it's funny though. I have the counter argument that it could be nurture because we kind of had this thing like the need for like closure, right? For some sort of conclusion. Don't believe me? Go watch season 1 of whatever show it is, and then find out you got to wait, 2 years before you get a season 2. And you tell me that you're not about closure. I mean, that's how we grew up. Like, we needed closure. Like, we had to know what happened at the end of the book. We have to know what happens with this. We got to know what happens next. I feel like that's kind of a nurture thing. But I think our need to combat it kind of came from a little bit of both, right? We witnessed it growing up, people fighting and having to pick sides. The gauntlet is thrown on the playground where your best friend Tony is having a fight with Sammy, and Tony goes, well, you're either going to be Sammy's friend or my friend. You can't have us both. And that would kind of go into, like you'd said, into what I'm saying, nurture. But we have a nature maybe to be combative. I mean, we've got millions of years of evolution where we're just kind of like, yeah, we're looking for a war. Like, we're looking to thrive and survive because we've always had to. Like, we've had to take down saber-toothed tigers. We've had to fight off other tribes. We had to fight off other cavemen. Like, all of our lives have been constant fighting for survival. So could that play a role in it? I think it fucking could. I think that that's a good point. I think Gabby Wong brought up a very interesting topic. Good job, Gabby. Salute to you, Gabby. So my question then becomes, if we're like this, can we stop it? Why do we do it? Well, social media. Like, that's my ultimate, like, go-to, is social media allows this to happen. And just to prove a point, I did this earlier, and simply asking a question. I didn't pick a side. I asked a question, although I fucking hate Machine Gun Kelly. So let's just get into that real quick. Let's see. Oh, shit. Like, this thing blew the fuck up. 14 reactions. This was posted 56 minutes ago. 14 reactions. And I don't even know how many fucking comments, but there's a fucking quite a bit. And I wrote, if Machine Gun Kelly actually won against Eminem, why did he surrender on the Breakfast Club? Which is true. He even said that after Eminem did Kill Shot, he was like, I was ready, man. I was ready to respond, and then I heard Kill Shot, and I was like, no way, no, I'm cool, I'm good, like, I'm out. Paraphrasing, but that was the exact gesture that Machine Gun Kelly was making. He said he was ready to fire back, and he's like, nope, I withdraw, which tells me you got your ass handed to you. So why are people having this discussion still? Why are they still defending Machine Gun Kelly when clearly, in my opinion, and through my evaluation, he lost, but other people are still doing the whole Eminem versus MGK thing? Well, if you verse Eminem in any way, shape, or form, your algorithm goes through the roof because Eminem is the most searched person on Google. So you kind of fall into that, and it becomes like kind of a favor that Eminem did. To beef with Eminem is a favor in of itself. If Eminem ever came out and said, yo, that dude in a fucking studded vest, what the fuck's his name? Sid Jones? Yeah, fuck that guy. Everyone's going to say it. Every one of my friends, dude, I would be staring at my phone and it would just be blowing the fuck up. I wouldn't even have a chance to answer it. It would just light the fuck up. Why? Because he's a big fucking name. Legend. Now, if Machine Gun Kelly said, yo, fuck Sid Jones, a couple of people might hear it, but it would mostly be like people that are fans of Machine Gun Kelly. Does that make sense? So the reason why people like Eminem is because of how famous he is, and they feel like that somebody else should take that throne. And one day they might. One day they might. Who knows? Not only for MGK puss out, but so did his taste in fashion. Eminem broke him. Good point, Crazy McCormick. It's a very good point. Now, and Crazy McCormick being a juggalo, he's decided to opt out of discussing any juggalo drama and things like that. I did too for a while. I wanted to stop this whole drama thing, and I wanted to just do my podcast, and I realized, well, I got to do something for ratings, right? I got to do something for ratings. So now I'm on the hunt for somebody who I think is a worthy adversary, who's not going to threaten the life of, like, my dog or anything like that, which is hard to find because these hip-hop people are really touchy and sensitive. I'm just saying they're very touchy and sensitive. Ask Lord Zero. He's a touchy cunt. And it makes sense because he does resemble a circumcised dick. So what I might be an asshole, and that's fine, but at least I'm not going to threaten the life of your children or your dog or dox you or put your address out or be like, where you at, bro? You down in Flint? You down in Detroit, yo? Like, I'm not going to be that cunt. Why? Because I'm white. I'm not that white, all right? And I'm not that white trash. I'm white trash, but not to that extent. Like, that is below me. I mean, there's a cockroach that ran across my floor, and I thought higher of it than I did of a cunt like that. However, and you can feel free to share this to him. He's blocked me, so he ain't gonna do shit. But one of the things that bugs me when it comes to beefs and people picking sides and shit like that is that the people that are in the neutral are thrown to the wayside, and the people that do pick a side or that have a preference are immediately put in the enemy zone immediately. When you're a nail, everything looks like a hammer. When you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? When you're in riot gear, everything looks like a riot. So I think it's important that people forget that social media exists for a while, because that's one of the things that caters to this too, right? Somebody writes a post. I'll do it right now. I'll prove a post right now. I'll do it right now just to prove a point, and we'll see what happens. I'll actually do it over the Sid Jones Network, so it's more anonymous, so I don't get in trouble. All right, so I'm going to do this right now, okay? I'm just going to do a post. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. No. We'll do it like this. Where's the carrot? There we go. All right. Now I'm going to make it look kind of cool. I'm going to have that. right there with the raindrops, right? So we got this. This is what I'm posting on my network right now, okay? This is what I'm posting. Twisted over ICP, okay? Watch. Continue, okay? Publish. Now give this about 30 minutes. Watch what happens. Just wait and see. Wait and see what the reactions are. This is only going to further prove my point. Now, I posted an ECW video over on the network. I've posted my Twitch over here at the network. No bites. No bites. This is what social media does to people. That's embarrassing. That is fucking embarrassing that right there, just a simple little thing, people get so emotional about it. I'm sure my phone's going to ring. So there you have it. We'll just wait and see what happens. Because the more people react to it, the more it shows up in the algorithm. And then the more they share it, and they'll be like, oh, the Sid Jones Network says Twisted over ICP. Can you believe this shit after Sid Jones had that amazing face-off with ICP and Shaggy 2 Dope? I don't believe it. I saw him in Garden City this past Friday at Rock of Ages. All he did was try to talk shit about me playing Nintendo here on Twitch. We shut his ass down by telling him I get paid doing it, so fuck him. Yeah, like I said, cunts. Fucking cunts. And I actually want to go to Rock of Ages. So crazy. Next time you head to Rock of Ages, pick me up. I want to go check out some shit over that way. I also have one of my dreams, one of the things I want to go do is I want to go inside the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and take a bunch of pictures. So that's something I want to do. I want to be there for that. I want to get my pictures taken with like the guitar that Joe Strummer smashed and shit like that. So, like I said though, I don't understand it. I don't get why we let social media get this way, and more importantly, I don't understand why we let ourselves stoop so low, right? Like I feel like that these people who pick sides and shit like that are they've got some sort of emotional investment, like. This music saved my life. Like ICP is covered in my. I'm like, did ICP put your tattoos there? Well, no. Like if Shaggy tattooed you and you're having beers with the guy and you were like buddy, best of friends, sure, be upset. But I'm sick of this whole like, yo, Shaggy and I, we're kind of tight because I met him at VIP and he was really cool and he said he really liked my necklace. You need to be euthanized. For fuck's sakes, like these same motherfuckers that are like, I'm like, here's what I'll say. I'll give you an example. Okay, I'm from New England. I'm from the great state of New Hampshire, and I said this a while back, and I'm going to repeat it because it's funny and I'm allowed to. So people thought that Blase Rose was something special, and they were like, "Oh, first female artist signed to Psychopathic Records." I was like, "Okay, whatever, just skim by it." And they're like, oh, she's from Maine. I'm like, oh, no. And then guess what? She turned out to be everything I thought she was. Why? Because she was from fucking Maine. From Maine. If you're from Maine, been to Maine, seen the locals in Maine, like, go get tested. Get tested, pretty please. They're like just slightly above some of the chicks in Massachusetts, and that's not saying much. So, I mean the native borns, not the ones that moved there, went to college there, you know? So, for someone to be like, oh yeah, Sugar Slam over Blase Rose, bro, maple syrup over Blase Rose, for fuck's sake. Come on now. At least maple syrup serves a purpose. But this is what bugs me. This is what bugs the shit out of me is that people are like, Sugar Slam versus Blase Rose. I'm like, dude, she's from Maine. Like, calm down. Like, that just should be done. But it's not about Blase's music or Sugar Slam or Violent J had a better taste in What Woman and shit like that, right? And do I give a fuck about Blase Rose? No. If I told her I'm from New Hampshire, she'd probably think little of me too. She's like, oh, you fucking pricks from New Hampshire. You guys come up. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And I have to pay your fucking taxes. And so, yeah, I know. I'm from the state of New Hampshire. I still got to pay fucking sales. This shit's garbage, right? Go to the Portland Mall. It's just a bunch of little local chicks. You've seen the memes. It's like that in Portland, Maine. Water over Blase. Right. I met this one kid a few years ago who called himself Twisty. He was just like, oh, holy savior over it because Violent J gave it to him. This is also the release of American Horror Story Freak Show. Gross. That's the thing that makes you want to puke in your mouth just slightly. Like as you know, I struggled reading that. I'm so embarrassed by people. Like, I think that's why I don't date. Like, I'm easily like, somebody could do like something so simple as just to type something like that, and my stomach gets in knots, and like my mouth starts to get that water, and I start to want to heave. That's bothersome to me. That's very troublesome to me. Not a fan of that notion or feeling, but people tend to do that to me, so I tend to close myself off of people. I've said this so many times. There's always that one act. There's always that one person in the show that's just extremely embarrassing. Like we had these Ninja Turtle guys at the fucking South Carolina show. These guys showed up in these like Ninja Turtle outfits, and they were like strung out on fucking something. But they're like talking to us about like, we're all here, like we're here, and you're here. And I'm like, dude, please get away from me. I'm gonna be sick. Like, please just go enjoy the show. It is up to us to do this, and this is important. And then like the one guy that's at the front of the stage, and you're like, oh God, oh, this person exists. Like you're next to them, like you hear them, and you're like, you want to find some place to dig a hole and bury yourself. Like that's at every show. And honest to God, man, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not shitting on just everybody. Like I have my preferences on the people that I hang out with, the people that I associate with, the people that I affiliate with. But I do want to make one thing clear is that if something makes me uncomfortable, I don't fuck with it, right? And I love you guys. You guys are great. But when I hear stories like that of like, oh, Violent J and I are best friends because he gave me a nickname, I'm like, okay. Like, let me explain something to you. VIP doesn't make you boys or brothers and shit like that. Now, I look up to Blaze Dead Homie, and we get along just fine. I mean, there's footage of this guy sticking up for me, right? Jamie Madrox kept mispronouncing my name on one of our phone calls, and Blaze got offended. Said, no, that's Sid Jones, man. That's Sid Jones. And you could just see the anger in his face. That dude stood up for me. I get to say that because, one, there's proof, and second, fuck what you think, but there's proof of Blaze Dead Homie sticking up for me. Now, does that mean we go and hang out on the weekends? No. Does that mean I have his number? No. So please, artists, don't hit me up thinking I'm going to be able to get you a free feature from Blaze. That's not, I wouldn't do it anyways. I don't care if you're my boy, my best friend. I wouldn't do that shit because I want my homie to get paid, right? So I look at what everybody is doing and saying, and because I have to, because it's in my Facebook feed. And, we should check on that status real quick. I want to see if that went up at all. I'll bet you it did something. It had to have. Well, two people commented. One's the network and the other's Twiggy Joe. So, yeah, already we're getting reactions, but it's from my own team. So that I don't even count that shit. I don't even count it. We're also like on the worst of the worst right now as far as our algorithm goes, because as you can see, we're banned till July on inviting friends. Thank you, Fred Fury and Lilacoy, for that. We don't get to invite friends to like our pages until July, and it hurt our numbers significantly where they've actually cut down our reach 35%. And they're making it so that way we're the last seen. Like, that's how bad we're hurting. And that's why we made the jump to Twitch. And that's me being transparent. You know, the thing that Facebook accused me of not being. And I've been absolutely honest with each and every one of you. I said, I need Denemy because I'd like an increase of viewership. I like entertainment. And if it's entertaining for you guys, so be it. I'm just saying I don't like it. Right? So does that make me a sellout? Yeah, probably. Am I offended by that? Nope. Not even slightly. Why? Because I'm Sid Jones. I get to do Sid Jones things. I can go hang out with my friends. Sid Jones sells out. He caters to the audience and gives us what we want and stuff. The bastard. I'm like, yeah, I fucking do. And then I just go about my day. I'm a very hard person to offend. I'm a very hard person to get a reaction out of. And the reason why I learned that art is because I found out that by not having a reaction makes the person even more mad. Like, I remember I was on this episode of Tales of Lowe's podcast, and Chuck Reeves was like just going off, and I'm sitting there just enjoying a sandwich, man. It was a sandwich. It was delicious. It was a tuna sandwich, a white bread. It had grapes cut up in it. Delicious. Oh, God, I'm just sitting there. And there's Chuck Reeves just tearing off his shirt, like making this huge scene. I'm just like, whatever, dude. whatever. And it made him even more mad. So he was like throwing a fit because everyone else is laughing and kind of, doing their thing. And I'm just kind of like, I'm whatever. I'm drawing my sandwich. It's a really good sandwich. And that's kind of how I live my life. Like I'll sit there and even press buttons. Like I'll sit there and just like say some like under the table, some sly shit and watch people get ignited because I get off on it. Like me pissing people off makes me happy. I love it. Ask my girlfriends. They'll tell you. Ex-girlfriends, I should say. Not girlfriends. Ex-girlfriends. Girlfriends don't stick around that long, especially if I made them all mad at once. Imagine if I had like 5, 6, 7 girlfriends and I just pissed them all off at one time. Just remember, only 25 people are going to be allowed at my funeral, so I'm selling tickets, bitch. Crazy Corver writes, he looked like a garden gnome trying to reach Super Saiyan 2. I have no idea what any of that means, but he looked like a cartoon character. I will say that. Watch it, Sid. You already have women jealous of you. I know! Best part is, though, they don't work for the network anymore. Neither one of them. I know, I'm a dick. And that's fine. Women are trouble. Like, women are pains in the ass, which is why anything that comes down to the wire with women, Crazy McCormick is in charge of hiring female talent because I'm not doing it. It seems like I make it so that way there's like a conflict of interest, anything involving Sid Jones and titties. Even though one of them really didn't have titties. It was kind of sad. But regardless, neither one of them really did, come to think of it. I'm a dick. Anyways, it's not like they watch my show anyways. So, again, one of the things I get to say, and then you guys get to go and report it to whomever. Like, he used these people by name. He was talking about 2 people who no longer work for the network, and both of them are female. So if I actually narrow this down, I figured out who it is. So I'm just going to inbox them real quick. They're going to lose their minds, and then they're going to do what? They're going to go head-to-head with me? Or I could just go into their live streams and, like, whatever. You don't understand. I antagonize the shit out of people, and those that ignore me, I delete them. Like, if you ignore me, and I'm trying to, like, do whatever, I'll get rid of you. Like, you're wasting my time here. It's not me wasting your time. You're wasting mine. I'm over here trying to get a reaction to people, but I'll keep you around if, like, your friends start showing up and responding to me. You get to stick around because I'm an asshole, and now I'm going to piss them off. So I will use your page, your post to get a reaction out of them. Instead of focusing on drama, I just create it. I love chaos. I love anarchy. And when I say I'm an anarchist, I don't mean like government philosophy of like absence of government. I mean like anarchy in my personal life where I'm going to, fuck with your day because it makes me happy. So ladies, I do insist that you call me and then I'll patch you over to Crazy McCormick so he can vet you. Kenny wrote, do it. He does have a point. I'm not like, this is the thing. I might piss people off, but this is the thing. It always goes like this. He's right though. Fuck! Why does he have to say something so blunt and rude and be right at the same time? Like nobody else has that right because I've been mastering this craft since the age of 6 and I haven't changed a bit. Again, ladies, call me. Sounds like marketing to me, says Gabby Wong. It's great marketing, isn't it? Thank you, Gabby. Gabby. Yeah, Gabby. Marilyn Manson said, when you're pissed off, you're thinking. Marilyn Manson's a smart guy. Oh, I just pissed off every single Rob Zombie fan. Oh, no. Kristen Corrick writes, I mean, so far, Sid has a 1 out of 4 success rate with hiring female talents from what I've seen. And that one person being Candy. So shouts out to Candy. Much love to you. You're the shit. Candy Clown, right? What's the title of that? Hello, this is Sid Talks. I was talking about the music industry, but now that we're already nearing the hour mark, now I'm just kind of like randomly bantering and whatever until the viewership goes down. Once the viewership goes down, I end the live stream. Like this is the point of the show where, again, I'm absolutely honest. This is honesty with Sid. This is like the Sid's corner. This is like what life is like in my head. This is what I'm thinking about. These are the things that I'm pondering and considering and whatnot. But again, if people want to see like Sid Jones go head to head with somebody and you think, oh my God, this would be absolutely epic, set it up. By all means, you could do it. Doesn't take much to send a fucking message. Yes, Candy, this is Sid Talks. But the title of this video is also like, the hypocrisy in the music industry and the hypocrisy of fans and bands and shit like that, right? But the fact is that I see life in a completely different setting, right? I see it as like people reporting on shit And it's like, oh my God, breaking news. Sid Jones Network just said twisted over ICP. So we're going to discuss this and break this down. And that's when they break down all of my videos, break down every single one of my articles of the shows that I've been to, and they try and draw a line to how I came to that conclusion. Then they speculate whether or not it was Sid Jones that wrote it as to why. Meanwhile, I'm over here on Twitch, so I'm like away from everybody. So they're not going to know that I wrote that post deliberately to get a reaction. That's the beauty of it all. And think about it like this, though. We're kind of like on the underground of the underground when it comes to social media here on Twitch. And so we can have these little private discussions. Meanwhile, up at the surface, they have no idea what the fuck is going on. Now, imagine if somebody was making a post, and you see it all the time. I see it in the hip-hop groups, and I just want to stab a motherfucker. And it's like, I'm better than Tupac. Bro, we know the guy that looks like he should be returning your phone call at State Farm, he said the same thing last week. Like, that shit's getting old. And with the Juggalos, they got their shit that gets old too. The whole I'm dropping the hatchet thing on April Fool's Day, shit gets old, right? Like, so every single thing has that. Like, in the punk rock scene, the big joke is like Green Day is absolutely punk. Green Day is GOAT, or Sum 41 is GOAT. And people post that shit to get a reaction deliberately, and you can tell. And we, for some reason, can't seem to tell the difference, and we take the hook every time. And I think that people were smarter than that. Let me explain something to you. Stupid people don't watch this show. I'm going to put this out to you straight up. Dumb people do not watch the Sid Jones Network. That's why we don't have that many viewers. You want transparency? There's your transparency. Why didn't Facebook like us? Because we're being honest, and we were sharing into groups without needing to boost posts. And they said that we weren't being honest with you guys. So I said, fine, I'll be absolutely honest. Did a show being absolutely honest for 2.5 hours. I then took the pictures of the analytics, all of the posts that we tried to boost, took screenshots of those, posted all of that. And Facebook still said that we weren't being transparent. Pretty sure it's about as transparent as it gets. Have you heard Twisted's shit? I know that new album is dope. My God. All American Rejects are GOAT. And hip hop people shit on Tupac and Biggie. I remember when most of the new metal bands were signed to Roadrunner Records. I remember that shit. And some metalheads made it to a point to believe that if a metal band wasn't a part of Roadrunner, they weren't shit. I remember that too. American was another label too, which Johnny Cash was signed to. And not Sum 41, God damn it. System of a Down. They were signed to that same label as Johnny Cash. Bet you didn't know that either. Yeah. Fun fact: System of a Down and Johnny Cash were on the same label at one point. Pretty cool, right? It's kind of some little cool knowledge for you guys. System of a Down and Johnny Cash are on the same record label. I wonder why they never did a record together. That confuses me. How come they never did an album together? That would be dope. System of a Down featuring Johnny Cash, right? Could you imagine that? Toxicity, right? Instead of the intro being played by Serge, it's being played by Johnny Cash on acoustic. Imagine that. The crescendo would have been a 10 times better buildup. Oh, God, I can just hear it now. Oh, man. And with that, like, that man comes around kind of melody to it, right? Oh, that would be so fucking Dick's Hard Clits Throb, guys. Hashtag Dick's Hard Clits Throb. Crazy McCormick writes, at some point, Sum 41 and ICP were signed to Island at the same time, right? BYOB is still relevant today with the lyrics. Absolutely. But this is another thing that I'm glad Crazy McCormick brought up. This whole thing with record labels. Why is it that, like, you got to side with a record label, right? Like, this record label is far superior than this record label because of the artists they have. I feel like it should be the artists that should be pole vaulted by the labels. Kind of like how it is now. But if you think the artist was dope and then they get signed, champion the label for signing them, right? That's what I did with Gordy. I backed Magic Ninja Entertainment in the beginning because they signed Gordy. And what did I say? If you go back and watch my archives over on YouTube, you'll find that I said, whoever signs Gordy gets my dollar. Magic Ninja signed Gordy and Bizarre. They became the last American rock stars. Bam. I was like, I'm in. I'm sold. Like, I will dedicate my music career to this. I will put all my money on the line on this group. I'll do this with the last American rock stars. That's why I supported MNE. Lars left, and I was kind of like, but I'm going to fucking kind of do my thing. Go back to listening to music and shit like that. I backed away for years. Backed away. I mean, goddamn, I was fucking around doing everything, really. After Lars left, I was like, all right, I'll just go to Astronomicon, have a good time. I'm just going to go over here, have a good time. I'm going to go to this event, have a good time. I'm going to go to this show, whatever, right? Because I wanted the band to succeed. I wanted to salute Magic Ninja for signing them. Well, when they left, I kind of left too. Now I work for Tom. Like, I it's not that I completely cut ties with support for the record label by any means. I'm still down with Zool. And granted, I wouldn't have known who Zool was had they not been signed, but I happened to be working with Lars at the time, happened to be doing my shit over at Magic Ninja Entertainment, happened to get a project locked in with Zool that fell through. It's unfortunate, but it happens, you know. Sometimes you try and make a deal with the band, goes fine, and then suddenly it's like, yeah, no, we don't want to do this. And you're like, all right, well, hey, no harm, no foul. Call me if you need anything, right? I'm still dope with Lee Carver, and that's a funny thing that nobody gets to see, and I'm sad about that. But Lee Carver and I actually had a funny little project that we did. We've actually got like the template for it, and we were asked to take it down. When I was over at Roxy, we were asked to take it down. I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate because I thought it was fucking great. But it's whatever, man. Business is business, right? If the business deal goes south between a friend and mine, right? Like, for instance, let's say this deal I got coming up Tuesday, right? Let's say I get there to sign this contract, and last minute, I'm told, no, we can't do this. Am I going to suddenly stop being friends with the guy? Absolutely fucking not. I'll be like, hey, next time I'm in town, we'll grab drinks and change your mind. Let me know. Maybe we'll come up with another vision for it or something, right? Should be more like that. I really feel like that it should be more like that, where business doesn't fuck up friendships, but just because you're friends doesn't mean you got to get into business with them either, right? That's like saying, let me use an example here that won't get me stabbed. Let's use my friend Joy Nicole, right? She's a great person. She's a great friend of mine. I adore her dearly. And let's say her and I, we're hanging out doing our thing and whatnot, right? Just because we're hanging out playing video games or fucking going for a drive or whatever doesn't mean I got to stick my dick in her. I mean, I'd be a retard if I didn't, but it doesn't mean that there's no law that states I have to do that, right? Just because I'm your friend doesn't mean I have to do business with you, right? And then just because you're my boy doesn't mean you have to do business with me either. You can completely cut me out. We'd still be straight. But this is where the industry gets really fucked up on another level. I see the chat's fired up here, so I'm going to start reading some of these. I was having a street team when they started out, but today's street teams have dissolved. Candy's actually got a valid point. Street teams are kind of like null and void now. Crazy has a point. What was his point? I missed his point. Let me click up here real quick. That whole label shit was huge with hip-hop. I believe mostly because of the whole East Coast, West Coast shit back in the 90s. Yeah, fair point. But I also feel like with hip-hop, they pick sides too. That's kind of where I'm at. That's my thought on it. Anyways, sounds better than Net Street Team or than Net Team. Yeah, it's true too. Crazy McCormick, they're called digital street teams. Right. So, for me, when it comes to street teams, has been brought up. I feel like they're kind of obsolete, especially for like certain bands and certain artists, right? Like you look at Dropkick Murphys. They used to have a street team, believe it or not, on the old Dropkick Murphys website, the old one. I wish I had taken pictures. You got to be part of their street team. I don't think they need a street team anymore. Let's be fair. I'm pretty sure the Murphys don't need that. I'm almost certain that they don't. I'm almost certain that Marilyn Manson does not need a street team. If you're starting out, you have your friends promote you and shit, please utilize your friends. Utilize the people that are your fans. Utilize them. They're going to come into play later on, right? They're the ones that get to say, I was having beers in this dude's garage while he was recording on his fucking GarageBand app or interface or whatever these hip-hop artists call it these days. You get to be one of those guys. And hopefully if they're decent to you and they're good to you, they'll take you with them, right? When they make it to that stadium level like it's in that meme. If you're not going to support me while I'm here, then don't support me when I make it here. I'm like, yeah, your odds of becoming stadium-sized are fucking minute. It's not happening for you. And it's hard to explain that to some people. They got their high hopes up. They believe in the law of attraction. They think that one day I'm going to be able to sell stadiums. I'm here to tell you, not in this modern era, and certainly not with COVID. So I would aim for something else. Rather than working on going up, I would work horizontally and try and make connections with people. That's what I would try and do. What I'm trying to figure out is why people are so hung up on becoming famous and what have you, when there's people in your town that don't even know you. Like, how do you fix that? How do you change that? Like, what do you got to do? Well, you got to get innovative. You got to get creative. And I struggle with that. Fuck, I've written, goddamn, 6 books. My 6th one's about to come out in 11, 12 days, something like that. I even forgot how many days away. It's coming out December 14th regardless. But my book is coming out December 14th. It's going to be my 6th book that I've published. I'm still not in my own mansion. 6 books. 6 books. Stephen King wrote Carrie and bought a house. Let me just explain this to you real quick. Stephen King wrote 1 book and bought a house. Cujo bought him an extended garage. Pet Sematary bought him another house. So, like, I'm trying here. But it's a matter on, like, the people that support you. And sometimes the people that support you, we have how many people on our Facebook? 2.1, 2.2 thousand change, right? 2.1, 2.2, whatever. No one's answering me. So we got 2.1, 2.2 over at Facebook. 1,000, right? How many people do we have tuned in right now? 5. 5 people. We have 5 people watching right now. Sean Ice Cold sent me a link. Okay, cool. I get those a lot. And the problem with selling in your own town is because most of the town residents see you as you really are and look at your work as a joke. Not necessarily. When I go back to New Hampshire, I'm fucking treated like a rock star, dude. Like, for real, I go to, like, one of my local places out there and shit. Out here in Howell, people fucking treat me amazing, dude. Like, they're, like, for instance, I was up, people get pictures taken with me here in my town. It's weird, dude. It's so fucking weird. I was at the liquor store, there's a group of kids there, and they're, like, whispering, like, kind of, like, looking at me like this, and, like, whispering, and, like, one pokes his head up like a fucking gopher, and then he, like, goes back down. So I light a cigarette and kind of, like, hang out a bit, because if I'm going to get jumped, I want to see it coming, you know? And so I'm smoking my cigarette, and this guy walks over. This guy kind of like walks over. He's the representative of the group. He walks over and he goes, "Hey, are you Sid Jones?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Fucking told you, bro. It's Sid." So these guys came walking over there, like, "Dude, no way! Like, it's so cool to meet you. Like, I had no idea you lived here. It's fucking weird." Like, we were walking around the complex, the apartment complex, and we were like, there was a guy with a hatchet, man. They're like, "Wouldn't it be fucking funny if he knew who you were?" And shit bricks if you ever found out that you lived here. Like, that's my local scene, right? People found out that I wrote books. I was at Thanksgiving, man. I was at Thanksgiving. Got locked in for an interview with somebody who's got a son who's in a band who did work with a pretty big band. And he's like, yeah, if you want to interview him, like, I'll just send him your way or whatever. I'm like, yeah, here's the links and here's all that. I was doing business on Thanksgiving, dog. Like, I don't sleep and I don't stop. One of my most successful nights of making money was back in the day on Thanksgiving. Even Kosher hit me up. He goes, "You're working, aren't you?" I'm like, "Sure as fuck am." He goes, "Good, man. We don't take days off here. We don't take days off." I'm like, "I fucking know we don't, man. Hell no, we don't. We don't get days off. I take vacations." Let's see. Stephen King also had a huge backing from a book publishing company who use Amazon. And Amazon's not a big publishing company. I'm just saying they got KDP. They've got Amazon Originals. Amazon's a pretty big monster. Like, you'd think that maybe it would help. That's after you got famous. I'm not even all that famous yet, dude. Again, do I have to remind you, we've got 5 people tuned into the show right now. How famous is that? I'm just saying, like, I'm being humble here. I get here on the network. I get to be a little more real. I'm sure there's somebody right now, one of the 5 viewers that's taking notes right now, that it's like, okay, so Sid Jones said this. They're quoting me right now. They're going to go report it to somebody, and then I'm going to be the asshole somehow, some way. Pretty typical, am I right? Let's see here. Amazon doesn't push your books. Publishing companies have PR and managers to get your name out. Yeah, that's true too, but they still offer paid promotion. They do that. Corrupt Doll Emily writes, "Morning, Sid." Good morning, Emily. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you greatly. Amazon does, but you have to pay for it. Like, you can opt to getting 70% of your royalties or 30%. And I'm like, those are my 2 choices. Like, that's kind of far apart. That's a 40% gap there, man. Like, what the fuck are you doing to me? Like, well, and here's the kicker. I don't trust Amazon to promote my book. Like, I'm like, okay, so I make more of my money on Amazon if I promote it on my own. Because how am I going to, like, oh yeah, we'll pay you 30%. We'll promote your book. But will you, though? Like, how hard are you going to push my books? Like, for real, how hard? Like, enough for me to do that? Or can I just roll the dice and gamble on my own? and have faith in the people that support me promote my book. Like, where are we going to go from here, right? You don't fuck with money. No offense, bro, but Amazon does let literally anybody publish books. But you also have to go through certain criteria too. Just saying. And how many people write books? Better question. How many people read books? There's an interesting question. Hey, anyone can publish a book. Sure. But can you write more than 75 pages that aren't fucking words that are this fucking big with very little to no blank spaces and pages, format it on your own, do all the formatting on your own, create a cover, and then have it submitted to KDP for a 72-hour review? Can you do it? That's where the problem comes in. Yeah, sure, anybody can write a book and have it published through Amazon. You don't need requirements to do so. You don't, except for what KDP puts in front of you. However, how many people write books? More importantly, how many people read anymore? And you know what's funny? I was share this with the Juggalos. They'll love this. I got into promoting my books through the Juggalo YouTube channels because of the connections that I made from years prior, and I was like, yeah, I'll just kind of like feature, and try and promote my books through their podcasts and shit. See if I can't like just do a quick plug, figure out how much they charge or whatever, because I'm sure it'll be cheaper than whatever Amazon's charging me to just basically sit on my book and be like, oh yeah, no, we pushed your book. It's too bad you only made a quarter this week, but no, we're pushing your book by all means. You can trust us. We're a massive corporation. Of course, you can have faith in us and our product. So, when I was promoting, going through the YouTube channels, I was blindsided by the Juggalos because they thought I was friends with somebody on the opposition, and I was like, but I'm fucking not, simply because I did an interview with somebody. So I was venting to a friend of mine whom I love dearly. I was venting to them, and they were like, listen, you probably shouldn't have been promoting on the Juggalo channels anyways. I'm like, what do you mean? Why shouldn't have I been promoting them on the Juggalo channels? And they're like, how many Juggalos do you think read books? And I'm like, well, I'm sure some of them read Behind the Paint. And they're like, yeah, and the other one's probably got the audio book. And I'm like, got it. Well, why'd they read that book? Because Violent J wrote it. Right. So are they going to read your books? They probably didn't even read Harry Potter. They just read the Cliff Notes and then watched the movies. Fair point. That's a fair point. Juggalos don't read books. It is what it is. Candy, I love you. Don't kill me, Candy. Dude, I had to go the fucks to sleep on audiobook. Emily, it's Shark Week if you're wondering why I'm so nitpicky. Oh, that's unfortunate for me and for Candy. Let's see. I only read books in the winter months. And that's actually the best time to be promoting books, too, is what I'm told is like in the months of like January and March or February and March. Between February and March. Something like that. I fucking forget. But as I told people, we talked about this on my last podcast, too. If they say these are the best months and these are when people are promoting their books and publishing books and things like that, that means everybody who writes books is publishing in those months, which means you don't stand out from the crowd. So what I do is I just publish on days that I feel like are important. I got to have a Sid Jones trilogy on my fucking birthday. It's the best gift you could get anybody. Fuck with me on that. It's fucking dope. Second, I'm a narcissist, in case you couldn't tell. Third, I published, and after I did that, before I did that, I published a book on Inauguration Day, which is Sense is Not Treason. And then my other books kind of like fell on different days. And this book, Malin Paradisum, comes out on my sister's birthday. So like the days have meaning to me. I don't care about, books do better in the February and months of March. I'm like, well, then my books will probably fucking do good in February and March then, because 2 fucking months ain't going to make a bit of a difference. Right? Right. Let's see here. And Malin Paradisum being released in the winter, marketing strategy. It was for my sister's birthday, as I just stated. It wasn't a marketing plan. It was my sister's birthday. Now what? Oh, Drowned Out official liked my photos. So Drowned Out must be in the building. Cheers to you, Drowned Out. If you're here listening, I appreciate you greatly. So dope as fuck. That is dope as fuck. So question is, where do we go from here? Well, honestly, people ain't going to change. You're still going to have the CPNs of the world. You're still going to have the drama alerts. You're still going to have the loud wires. They're talking about the 10 times artists called out other artists on stage. And you're like, oh, I got to see this. And we're going to live in that life. We're going to live in that world for a very long time, probably for all eternity. So I feel like that when we get this far in the game, as far as beefs go, record label versus record label, this artist versus this artist, we can drop dream matches, right? We can drop dream matches. If you're a wrestling fan, you can drop a little dream match of your own. You get to go play it on a video game, and it's all great. And it's all gravy. Now, I'm a CM Punk guy, and everyone's going to be like, oh, that's cliche. Because if you like a popular guy, right, in wrestling, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck. They don't care. In music, if I said, yeah, I listen to fucking Led Zeppelin, they're like, well, fucking, of course you do. It's fucking Led Zeppelin. The dog listens to Led Zeppelin. My pug just purchased their new album. Like, the fuck? Everybody and their mom listens to Led Zeppelin. It's kind of the same thing with ICP. It's like with their songs, right? They got their famous songs. Artists all have their best songs. Like, you a fan of Snoop Dogg? I like Gin and Juice. Fucking everybody likes Gin and Juice. My great-great-grandmother, before Gin and Juice came out, liked Gin and Juice, for fuck's sakes. And so that makes you less cool. That makes you less interesting. So they just kind of draw away from you because you're what they call a basic bitch, which is a term that came around. It should have never. Did you hear about Whitney Payton and Blase Rose? For real though, it's on Instagram. I have not. Wait, are they like? How do I put this in a delicate, mature way that a soon to be 31-year-old male would ask such a question of trying to figure out if there is female involvement romantically? Are they like, are they like is there like do they have hardware? Like, are they like I'm asking, is she doing Blase? Like that's what I'm trying to get at. Do they see, this is exactly why Twiggy and I can't do a Master Debaters, because we have the same wavelength. It's fucking weird. That, or I'm extremely predictable. I'd like to go with the first one and not the latter. Are they trying to fuck? They're lesbianing out together, yeah. Holy shit! I got $20 that says Whitney Payton is pegging Blase. Like, she's definitely pitching. Like, I'm telling you right now, she's got a strap on that's like 8 inches. That's like this fucking wide, and she's just like, she's the one that's like, come here, bitch, and like it just sounds like this. It just sounds like this. It's so far down the street from fucking Violent J's house, he could hear it, and he's like, oh god, I remember when I used to be able to do that for a good 35-40 seconds, man. That was the shit back then. She was from Maine, slightly fucking crazy, but at least the pussy was good. And I'm sure all 30 of your friends from the label think the same thing. Oh, I know I said it. I'm fucking horrible. $20 Peyton is top. Yeah, it blew my mind a bit. It didn't blow my mind. I've known for a while that Whitney Payton likes tacos. And I'm not judging. I'm just heartbroken. Not judging. The hashtag Sid's not judging. He's just heartbroken. That's a good hashtag. Somebody put that up on the Twitter and then send it to her. And I wish them the best. And Whitney, as I've suggested to Violent J, please get checked. It's what I recommend. Agreed. Blah blah is all bitch. All bitch. And if you ball gag it, it's fine. Like the thing with the chicks from Maine is you got to make sure that they're ball gag, and that usually helps. I also recommend that with the chicks from Massachusetts, unless you're into the whole harder, yeah, give it to me harder. Like, unless that's your thing, I don't recommend it. But if that's kind of your thing on Pornhub, that's your thing on Pornhub. You like the Boston accent thing. I wonder how often that's Googled. Let's see. I'm all caught up on the comments. Excellent. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting close to that time. However, I will say contest or fucking her way to the middle. Damn, son. Damn. Sid's not judging. Sid's not judging. He's just heartbroken. That's a good one. Thank you, Emily. Now it's kind of the lower middle. Jesus Christ. I feel like Whitney Payton kind of took a step down that rung of that ladder for sure. as far as taste goes, Jesus Christ, I feel fucking terrible. Like, Maine, like you picked a chick from Whitney, you could have had anybody. Like, there's guys out there that have been like, oh, you'd be so awesome if you were a chick. They would take themselves into the men's restroom, take a nail file, and just start hacking the sumbitch off. Like, there's guys that would have done that for you. And that's love, baby. That is love. God damn. I still want to know how that conversation came up. You think that Whitney Payton hit up Blase, or do you think Blase hit up Whitney first? Like, who do you think hit up who first? Like, she found out that Blase got dumped. She was like, yeah, I finally got a chance. Like, hey, listen, I was just wondering, do you like your clit being licked like by a woman? Like, I just wanted to ask. God damn, we are not getting monetized. Oh, we'll just put this under the sex education moniker, like that little bit of a tag. We'll add that. It's a sex education. What dreams about her? Blah blah hit up Whitney for sure. Yeah, you think so? I don't know, man. I don't know, because you'd think that Blase would be like, she's way out of my league. Shoot my shot, I guess. But I think that Whitney found out about the breakup and was like just like befriending her and shit. And then she's like, I got a strap on in my closet. It's kind of gathering dust. I guess I could give it a shot. Never been with somebody from Maine before. Fuck, why would you? Could have had a New Hampshire boy. I was sitting there right next to you. Goddamn, Whitney. Goddamn. Maybe I'm the one that made her go lesbian. She was like, oh, God. Oh. But thanks for the haircut idea there, Sid. I know. I'm an asshole. Pay me. Blase is desperate for Whitney. Blase is desperate for album sales. Yeah. And guess what? She's about to find out what it's like to be at the very bottom of that for sure. Like, she's about to find out real fucking quick that what happens when you get to fuck the artist, you're not taken seriously. I'm sorry. I've been in the industry for a while. I've met the girls that are fucking the artists, and yeah, they get to get in for free, but they get to go sit and stand with everybody else while the lead singer or the front man or the rapper, the artist, like MC, I'm fucking dope guy, gets to like flirt on the fucking the things that look like trash bags bouncing up and down in the front of the barricade. God, I'm an asshole. And this is probably why I don't go to underground shows anymore, because people are like, so you really fucking hate the underground scene, don't you, Sid? And I'm like, I fucking hate you. Oh. Well, has been desperate for album sales. And I mean, well, the whole Violent J thing didn't work. You think that maybe Whitney's just kind of like, I don't know, bored or something? Like, maybe it was my fault. Maybe she heard me talking shit about Blase and she was like, oh yeah, I forgot she existed. Like, I'll tell you a story real quick before I go. And I've learned that the industry's changed where bands and labels are watching us. I mean, Christ, we've got 3-4 people sounding off in the chat right now, which means there's 2 that are unaccounted for. That could be anybody. Anybody near God's hot son. Could be a band, could be an artist, could be a label, could be whatever. We live in the day and age where they watch us. I want you to think about this for a second. Bands and artists and labels watch what we're doing and saying, right? They're tuned into us. That's fucking insane. I was doing a YouTube video, and again, I'd get about 6-7 views, so I'm actually like, it's my comfort zone. I've been doing this for years, so 6 or 7 is usually, it's a good omen. So, sitting here about 6-7 viewers, and all of a sudden, I'm doing my live stream in the office, and I start seeing the numbers go up 20, 30, and I'm like, what's up, guys? Like, who's all here? And this is back before you got to see who was in the chat, like before names pop up and shit. And there'd be like 6, 7, 8 people sound off like, yo, it's fucking, I'm here. Yo, what up, dog? And then the rest of these people, fucking nothing. And that was probably the most like intense fucking live stream I'd ever been in. Like, fucking ever. Like, that was like one of those, like, because I have no idea who the fuck is watching. Come to find out, I learned who was watching that live stream. I learned who was watching that. And when I found out, I didn't even believe it. I didn't even fucking believe it. I had to double check my sources and shit like that. I had to sit down and drink a bit when I found out who was tuned into that night. I was like, I'm mind blown. Like, I was a fucking small guy, and these people were checking me out. Like, it's surreal. Like, holy shit. And when that happens, for the first time, like after a while, like just becomes like, oh, hey, so-and-so's here. Oh, I found out that so-and-so checked out this episode. That's cool. What they think of it, whatever. But the first time it happens, there's no notion like that. Like that is adrenaline, like unlike anything you've ever felt before. So we live in different times now, guys. So I decided that what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep fucking throwing eggs at the wall till something lands, till something sticks. And I'm going to keep doing what I do. And what I do best is just being Sid fucking Jones. And if you guys ain't down with that, fuck what you think. I'm going to catch you guys live tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A salute to each and every one of you for being tuned in for this very special Sunday afternoon episode. And tomorrow night, I got something else lined up for you. Guarantee it, you won't be disappointed. Meeting on Tuesday and potentially a special guest live next Saturday over at the Asylum. So make sure you're following us over there. Asylum Music Inc. at Facebook. So make sure you're just typing in Asylum Music Inc. Check us out. We got some cool shit for you. Much love to each and every one of you. And I'll see you tomorrow night live. Peace out, guys.